Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Greene, and today we have an awesome, spectacular little ice cream dollop of fantasy news to get through today. And I quickly want to say, if today's fantasy news seems a little bit less professional than usual, it's because I'm still technically on vacation and I'm filming this as a bit of a fantasy news condensed. So I'm sorry if this doesn't have all the glitz and glamour of your regular episode. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first story of the day. And we have back-to-back cover reveals that are pretty damn good looking. First up, we have Hannah Witten's For the Throne, and I really enjoy the use of deep, vibrant colors here and that kind of more minimal approach. It seems like an evolution of the trends that we've been seeing over the last 5 years, really well realized and maturing, and I appreciate that. And then taking a whole other approach, but with the same level of vibrancy, we have Under Fortunate Stars by Rin Hutchings, and wowie wow, that is a really nice kind of abstract depiction of space. Really enjoy that. It's something different I haven't actually seen quite done like this before, so mad respect. And I look forward to both of these books coming on out. But with the last fantasy news being such a bummer, I wanted to cover some stories that just made me go, ah! And be happy, damn it. And in that vein of deliciousness, we had Jamie Lee Curtis being asked if she could turn into any character from fiction, who would she want to be? And god damn it,
I'd be Nico Robin from One Piece.
She answered Nico Robin from One Piece, and that just... I already loved you, Jamie Lee, but now I'll kill for you. Who do you want gone? Probably Michael Myers. Well, that's a fictional, but like, you know, the franchise is probably a bit much. Oh no, she's still in them. So she still likes it. Good on her. This is getting weird. Next news. Neil Gaiman is pushing to help reinvigorate the Disney Must Pay movement with a tweet saying, if you're wondering whether Disney has stepped up and paid the royalties they owe to authors, illustrators, and comic artists for books and GNs they have published or relicensed, the answer is no! They've paid a few high-profile authors. Hashtag Disney must pay. And I very much so enjoy seeing an author with this large of a platform step up and try and bring an important notice, spotlight on this issue, and I will of course continue to do so here. I know it's probably a bit repetitive and I apologize, but if the pressure is continually applied in the right ways, and heck, maybe me mentioning it has a snowballing effect to someone bigger hearing about it and getting even more attention, I'm gonna keep doing it, because this matters a lot. But before we get into some very exciting audio drama news, a quick message from today's sponsor.
You know, it used to be that I would create fantasy stories and people loved them, but I was never able to reach the highs that I knew my imagination could take me. It's so difficult to keep all the ideas organized and straight in my head, and people kept saying, oh gosh, these are so revolutionary and they're so imaginative. The wizards, the dragons, it's Arthurian, but I knew fantasy could go further. So that's when I signed up for Campfire Blaze, and since then, it's been raining. I was able to create what is now known as the Lord of the Rings, and fantasy's never been the same since. People ask me, Tolkien, how did you come up with Middle-earth? And I tell them it was just hard work, dedication, studying the craft, but in reality, it was all the features Campfire Blaze offers. I mean, I have map makers, language makers, character organizers, timelines. It's like Middle-earth was taken out of my brain for me, and I love it. Without Campfire Blaze, I would have never gotten that Peter Feller to make the movies, and really since then, life's just been one giant cocaine-fueled awesome hayride, and it's wonderful. I recommend that if you want to also have your fantasy career turn your life into a cocaine-fueled hayride, you just check out the links in the description right down there, because boy, it's awesome to be a rock star of a genre, let me tell you. Now, I know there's some really big audio drama fans in the crowd, and it looks like we are getting a Dark Tower audio drama from Phipps Movie Productions. And with the like to dislike ratio, people seem to be pretty amped. I am as well. I'm gonna be honest, full cast audio productions have to be done exceptionally well
for me to enjoy them. If the mixing's not right, or the actors don't really seem like they're in an intense conversation, which can happen with some of the worst ones, it very much so pulls me out and I just find it distracting. I'd prefer one artist's interpretation of the characters and the vision, but some of the best ones have truly been magnificent fantasy sci-fi experiences or just story experiences for me. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one because I think it's a medium for storytelling that's getting more popular. So I think we're going to see more and more high budget ones. I'm in because Dark Tower, man, it needs to be adapted. I could see it making a good game, good movie, good comic book. Is that already been done? I'll have on the screen right now if it is. Was it? I'm curious. You know and I don't, but then I do know by the time you're time. Now, the box office return for Dune has officially passed $100 million, which some people seem to be celebrating, saying, yay, it's finally hit that really large milestone so many movies don't even come close to, while others are comparing it to the opening weekend of the latest James Bond movie and how it's already borderline smashing through that. I think it's a little crazy to compare sci-fi, a genre that very much so has a history of struggling at the box office, with one of the biggest cinema draws in the history of any franchise to ever come to the screen. James Bond is up there with the all-time highest money makers, like MCU level. That being said though, yeah, I would say Dune's return so far has been a bit lackluster, and the big test is going to be here in America. It was written by an American author. This is the country where the budget for the second movie and the profitability for a continued exploration of this universe is really going to be tried. I hope we see it do well because, you know, I like things to do well. I try to be a good, positive energy person in the world. Here's some energy for you. And for Warhammer fans, you finally got the trailer for Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate. Some real gameplay included, and it's a dungeon crawler, and man, I like these next generation dungeon crawlers. I might have to give this a little bit of a looky-loo. I'm more though enjoying right now New World, the latest game from Amazon, and it's like the first actual Amazon game studio success that I've seen. I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I have criticisms. Let me know if you'd like to see a review of New World in the comments down below. I'm gonna step out of sci-fi fantasy. Look, I know it's kind of still in, right? Because Henry Cavill, like the guy is become synonymous with fantasy sci-fi adaptations now, and boy oh boy is it interesting to see him try and throw his hat in the ring for the next James Bond casting. There's been people pushing for this for quite a long time, and you know what? James Bond is kind of, they have disappearing cars. That's sci-fi. And Daniel Craig's eyes, those are a fantasy. But when it comes to casting Henry Cavill as even a major player in the next James Bond movie or as James Bond himself, I'm not the biggest fan of the idea. Don't get me wrong. I really like Henry Cavill. I love his treatment of Geralt, and I've enjoyed him as Superman despite the more lackluster movies around him. But for me, this just doesn't fit the direction I would like to see Bond go in. Henry Cavill is a very kind of proper, prim-looking person, and having him interpret a character I very much so enjoyed seeing go this darker, grittier route with Daniel Craig feels like more of a step back. Hold up, no, I have a pitch for Henry Cavill to be a perfect 007 story because he has that prim, proper look to him, so he starts off as a very optimistic, I'm gonna be the next amazing James Bond, but after a few missions, he's starting to get more gritty and grizzled, and we're seeing him fall apart. He's actually losing weight, losing the muscle. He's no longer looking as big and huge as he once did, and you're wondering, oh my god, could he not make it? Is this gonna be a new interpretation of 007 where we watch him fail as an agent? The answer is actually kinda yeah for a while. You see, in the first movie, we're gonna have a reinterpretation of Goldfinger, played by Helena Bonham Carter, who sees this weakening agent is trying desperately to flip him, so they're working mind games on him again and again and again. The overall arc for this Henry Cavill is 007 is that he is actually going to be able to overcome this psychological torment and become a more hardened soldier who's not caring about looking so nice and being the suave, dapper, like woman-getting guy, but instead actually have that, in which is all where you saw Daniel Craig go, where it's more about the actual like psychological PTSD of having this job. So it kind of is a whole overall arc for how the character 007 has been treated so far. And I just really like this idea, so I put it in here. What do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. That being said, that's me making quite a bit of assumptions about how Henry Cavill would approach the character, and maybe he would take it a whole other way. I don't really know. It's just not my top pick, though of course I'd like still go see it if they did it. Gosh, like, duh. duh. But this brings me to one of my favorite questions to ask people, and I'm curious to see who will be the most upvoted pick in the comments down below. Who would you most like to see take on Bond next? Do you disagree with me and Henry Cavill is top of the list, or is there someone else? Let me know, because we do know for sure Daniel Craig's done. And in the final story we're going to cover here today, it seems that Incest Story by Pinocchio author published in English for the first time. I'm going back to vacation. And of course, I'd like to record a special shout out to my latest high tier Patreons, Templar9999 and Wraithmarch Creative.